It looks like the Miami Heat starting lineup may have leaked after 3 days of training camp, and based off some reports and footage, it looks like we have an idea who's going to be in that starting five, and we have to talk about that and how the bench will shape up for Miami. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff, and that starting five is the one that is actually anticipated. It looks like it will be Terry Rozier, Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jovic, and Bam Adebayo. When they have been doing a lot of joint inter-squad scrimmage work, these are the main five that have been playing together, and then the other five opposing them have alternated, obviously, but that group is going to be led by Jaime Jaquez Jr. And a pair of others like Duncan Robinson, but this looks like it will be, assuming there is no injuries from now until when the Heat play October 23rd against the Orlando Magic, that when they tip off in the Kaseya Center, this will be the five on that floor. I know a lot of people have said Kel'el Ware, potentially Jaime Jaquez Jr., but it ultimately will be this five in all likelihood. And assuming that nothing changes, and this is the starting five, give me your one-word reaction to the starting lineup. Looks like Erik Spoelstra is going to roll out on night one. My one word, expected. And I know a lot of people, like I just said, may have wanted Jaime, may have wanted Kel'el Ware to start alongside Bam Adebayo. But when you heard Erik Spoelstra's comments at Miami Heat Media Day, because he said that he wanted to see the quartet of Terry Rozier, Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo play more extended minutes together this season, because they just simply were not able to do that due to Tyler Herro being injured, due to Terry Rozier being hurt. Like, they were just never able to all be on the floor together. And then obviously in the postseason, Rozier and Jimmy both missed time in that Boston Celtics series and didn't actually log a game. So once you heard that statement to me, there was only one player that complemented this group the best, and that is Nikola Jovic. And when you think about what this core four will do for Miami, last season, I said they didn't play often. After that trade happened mid-January, a couple weeks before the deadline, they only played 118 minutes together the entire second half of the season. Now, they did have a positive net rating, which is always good to see. They had an offensive rating of 115, a defensive rating of 114 as a group, which means they netted one. And this is also, I hope everyone realizes it, like, there's a lot of different parts in this, right? There is a ton of different players that rounded out that lineup and ended up being the fifth player in a five-man rotation. But when these four were together, these were the averages and the numbers on a higher advanced metric standpoint. And I might be wondering, well, why didn't I just see what the numbers were when Nikola Jovic was? Well, it's because after a lot of scrolling through all the five-man lineups that he used this past season, that exact lineup just simply did not come up. So we have yet to really see what a lineup of Rozier, Herro, Jimmy, Jovic, and Bam could do in full work together. And adding him to this group, I think, will be a lot of fun due to everything Nikola Jovic can bring to the table. And we saw what he could do last season in year two. Now just imagine what he's going to be able to do in year three, adding more muscle to his body, being more experienced, more comfortable in his role. I am excited to see what Nikola Jovic is going to be able to do for this starting lineup, and I think he's the perfect complement in that starting group with the core four. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because we have daily videos and weekly watch parties here at the channel. We're so close to 14K subscribers, under 250 away. Hit that sub button, because preseason watch parties start next week. When you talk about what Nikola Jovic will bring to the table, in year two, he only played in 46 games and really only played, 45% of the minutes? Think about that. He averaged 19.5 minutes per game last season. There are 48 minutes in a basketball game. So he played well under the halfway mark there. And he did a lot of good things, though. And the part that was the most impressive last year for Nikola was his three-point shooting, right? Listen, we all knew Jovic was a good three-point shooter. We saw that when he was playing in Serbia. We saw that in the G League. We saw it in Summer League before he actually took that step last season. But I don't think any one of us expected him to, in his first full season in the NBA, shoot 40% from three. And now it isn't the highest sample size. It's not like he's launching 5 threes a night. No, that's not the case whatsoever. But the fact that he's able to put himself on the map at baseline, and we know he has the capability of shooting 40% beyond the arc, that is going to add a lot of value for him, because he's big in size. He's 6'10", 6'11". And with a smaller center in terms of height, Bam Adebayo, it is important to have a starting four that can give that same exact versatility in terms of size, wingspan, and allows them to be more effective on the defensive glass as well as the offensive glass. But that's not the only thing Jovic brings. The three-point shooting and the size are the main two, but he's a high IQ basketball player. He understands the game at a very good level, and now that the game will start to slow down for him and he'll not be rushed as much as that young guy trying to make a name for himself, he's more comfortable in his role. I expect him to be able to make even better plays and decision-making in transition, in the half court, better defense as well. And that's another thing that I really like about having Jovic in this group. The additional playmaking is key. The Heat don't have a natural point guard on this roster at all. You think about it. Rozier is more of a scoring guard than a point guard. Herro's a two guard. Josh Richardson's a two guard, but he's hurt to start off. They don't have a true Chris Paul type point guard where they can just trust him to run the offense like Kyle Lowry did for the Heat over the past 3 seasons. So having a person who can handle the rock, make good decisions with the basketball like Jovic will help complement Jimmy, Bam, Terry, and Tyler because it's a versatile lineup. All 5 can handle the ball. All 5 can make decisions. All 5 can shoot now with Adebayo coming along. It's an intriguing lineup, and I can't wait to see it. But adding Jovic to this lineup and starting group as well just showcases how deep this Heat basketball team is. When you think of the bench that Erik Spoelstra is going to have to work with this upcoming season, you just start to get excited about the capabilities of this team. The starting group is going to be solid. And then when you look at the bench and the roles that these players will have coming off that bench in the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game, it's going to be like, wow, this team could actually make some noise in the Eastern Conference. We'll talk about that in just a second. But there's only 9 hats left. We have shown this hat on the show over the past month or so. It's so nice. It's adjustable, two-tone color, cream base, red hat or tip with a couple different logos there. Only 9 left on sale for $22. Get yours today before they run out. Because when you look at the bench now, the 6th man is going to be Jaime Jaquez Jr., the 2nd man out of UCLA. And I'm really excited about that role for him. Last year, he started a bunch of games due to Jimmy Butler being hurt, Tyler Herro being hurt, and a bunch of others missing time. But he also was like the 7th, 8th man when the rotation was fully healthy because Caleb Martin was that 6th man type. But with Caleb Martin in Philadelphia, I think Jaime Jaquez Jr. is going to take that role and run with it. And I got to be honest, I know we're going to be a little bit biased here, but I wouldn't hate if you're a betting person back at home to sprinkle a little bit of a future on Jaime Jaquez Jr. to win 6th man of the year because I think he could average 15 points per game off the bench this season with an improved 3-point shot. And if he does that in the Heat or Solid Ball Club, well, he'll be right there for the awards. Your bench shooter is going to be Duncan Robinson. That's the role he's carried for the past 2 or 3 seasons. Your bench defender is going to be Haywood Highsmith, the guy that you bring off the bench to go sick attack dog mode on opposing guards and wings. Your backup center is going to be Kel'el Ware. And then I kind of put him as a wild card because I think he is a wild card. Alec Burks, the shooter that they signed in free agency on a vet min deal, he can shoot 40% from 3. He averaged 10 points per game plus over the past 4 seasons across Knicks and the Pistons. Like, he is someone that I don't know what to expect from him. You can also label Pallel Larson as a wild card, Josh Richardson as a wild card, as they both will, well, at least Josh Richardson will miss time to start the year potentially with that shoulder injury. But Larson, who knows what the 2nd-round pick's role is going to be right off the bat. When you think of the starting lineup in comparison to the roles for the top 5 guys off the bench, I think they have a really solid 10-man group. But the only concern that I have about this team that I kind of outlined just a second ago is that they don't have a real backup point guard, let alone a true point guard in general. Rozier, last season, before being traded from Charlotte to Miami, had a career best and high in assists per game at 6.2. That was in a small sample size, only half the season for Charlotte. When he was with Miami, he averaged 4.2 assists per game. He's never averaged more than 5.5 assists for an entire season. So that is the concern. Who is going to create for others? Now, maybe you're just going to say it's such a balanced offensive attack. Well, you don't need a true point guard like that because the ball movement's going to be so crisp and everyone can score on their own. But not having a true point guard in the starting group, as well as not having a real backup point guard, does give me a little cause for concern. Let me know if you have a concern for this Heat team and what it is. What's your biggest concern for the Miami Heat this upcoming season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I'm going to double down here as we head out on today's video and say it is the lack of a true point guard. That's why they were out looking for Damian Lillard last year in the trade market. They've been in talks and been linked to so many guards in the past. They have been on the lookout for a true point guard. It's why they brought Kyle Lowry into the building. And although we Did not like the way it finished with Lowry. Got to remember, he was a key piece in that run as an 8 seed to the NBA Finals, and he was also one of the leading contributing factors on the Heat being the #1 team in the Eastern Conference during Kyle Lowry's first season in Miami in the 21-22 campaign. Having a true point guard over the Jimmy Butler era has helped Miami. All right, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we're dropping Heat content every single day, as well as watch parties returning next Tuesday at home against the Charlotte Hornets. We will have a preseason watch party. I'm pumped up. Hopefully you are too. Subscribe and lock us in for the best coverage on YouTube surrounding the Miami Heat this season.